Morning. It's good to see everyone this morning here in Harford County. School safety has been on the top of everyone's agenda for the last couple of months, not only in Maryland, but with our own fatality, but across the country. Harford County has a long history of proactive response to school safety. In fact, our high school SRO, School Resource Officer program, began in 1998. With this in mind, I do want to release our expenditures and proposed budget for the upcoming FY19 year. It's about 2 weeks ahead of time. We'll be sending the official budget over to the County Council in approximately 2 weeks. But today, I want to announce my FY19 budget. We will be including funding to expand the SRO, School Resource Officer program, to all Harford County middle schools and the Alt-Ed High School in Aberdeen. I'm also pleased to announce, and our partner here from the town of Bel Air is with us, that they will be handling the Bel Air Middle School location as we work with our municipalities throughout Harford County. In addition, I will be funding bidirectional amplifiers to improve radio coverage for our SROs and our public safety personnel throughout our school system. I also will be funding school security camera upgrades as requested by the Board of Education for $350,000. In addition to that, the county will also proceed with funding of $250,000 for our mental health crisis center partnership with Upper Chesapeake and Healthy Harford as we expand not only the awareness of mental health and treatment here in Harford County, but we also kicked off a program this week that will go out into the communities just to give our citizens those skills to recognize folks that are having mental health problems, but also those navigation skills to get them to the right providers. So in addition to the $1.4 million that we are providing today, in addition to the current $1.3 million that we provide for our high school SRO program with our partners at the Sheriff's Department, we also fund $540,000 a year for school safety crossing guards who not only look out for traffic crossing, but also are an important part of getting our young people home and to school in the morning. We're also completing our final open classroom school security project. As you remember, in the 70s, open classrooms were a thing that everyone thought was great, but in today's modern times, it is necessary that these young people be in a lockable, secure location. So I will be completing funding for our final project at Bel Air Elementary School. I believe the school board has put that out to bid or awarded a contract. But over the last 3 years, we have funded $7 million to make sure that every elementary school that had an open classroom concept is now renovated and will be in a secure, lockable environment. I want to finally thank our partners. One great thing in Harford County, school security, we not only work with our partners and our school security director and the superintendent, the sheriff through the SRO program, our law enforcement officers. It is a team effort that we work on constantly. And as I said, although it's been a hot topic as of recent, we have had a school security program and an SR program going back for quite some time as we begin to expand our program here in Harford County. We'll also work together in that same partnership as we look at elementary schools and what, in addition to some of the things we're seeing in the state bills for additional security and fiscal controls at elementary schools, what in fact works the best way, whether it's a traditional SRO program, retired embedded officers in an elementary school. We're going to take some time during this interim as the sheriff begins to staff up the middle school program, we're going to take some time to look and see what in fact works best at the elementary school level and how we fund that and staff it going forward. So with that being said, I want to give the sheriff an opportunity to say a few things, and then the superintendent.
Thank you, sir. Morning. I'm going to start off where the county executive left off, and that is what a great partnership we have here in Harford County between the county executive, the school and system, the board and the superintendent's office, the school security director, and our municipalities, the municipal agencies, particularly the police departments as it relates to the sheriff's office, all trying to work to accomplish the same goal, public safety. And underneath that umbrella, of course, we all have great concerns with what we've seen around the country with the security of our schools. Have to especially recognize, fiscal responsibilities are something that befalls the county executive, and the dollar only goes so far. The expansion, we had a town hall a few weeks ago, and one of the common themes that we heard was more school resource officers, and the county executive, the superintendent, and I all heard that message, and I'm very thankful that he has been able to find the funding that will allow us to staff up on this. This is a huge first step. We are going to take the sheriff's office program, and then with what you'll hear, I believe, from Mr. Bain, is the all schools and public schools in Harford County at the high school and the middle school level will have an assigned SRO when we're complete. What that means for the Harford County Sheriff's Office is going to be an additional 7 positions. We are advertising for those positions as lateral deputies starting today. It's not up there yet. It will shortly be up on our website and our Facebook page. And the reason for lateral over new positions is the amount of time it takes to bring a new officer through the hiring process, through the training process, and then the field training. It's about a 9-month process. So we are hopeful, probably not by the start of the school year, but as we go into the next calendar year, we will be able to have these additional SROs in place at the additional schools that we're going to be covering. Lieutenant Daugherty is here with us in the back of the room. He is the commander over top of school policing. He's actually one of the very first. County executive talked about having this program in our county for 20 years. He is actually one of the first school resource officers that was assigned to the Harford County Sheriff's Office, and now he supervises that unit. And we also have Sergeant Penman, who has split responsibilities, but he is the direct line supervisor to the corporal and the deputies that are assigned to school policing. This additional funding is going to allow us to have a sole sergeant, first line supervisor more or less, dedicated to the safety and security of the 14 public schools that we will have under our umbrella. And as you also heard from the county executive, the elementary schools are still going to be a question that people have. It is a great fiscal undertaking, and again, I thank the county executive for identifying the funds for this. It's also a hiring challenge. All the police departments in the state of Maryland are going to be looking for additional officers. We've already had hiring challenges. Now we're going to go out and try to find an additional 7 for our agency. So it's a great undertaking, but it's a huge first step. And we're going to continue to work with the school system, with the county executive, with all of our partners on finding other ways to look at the future for the school system and how to keep our elementary schools just as safe, even though they won't have an assigned SRO, because I know that question's going to come up. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the superintendent for a few comments.
If you haven't picked it up by now, we're not here for one light to be shed on any one individual. What we want to do is shed light on the importance of safety and security in our schools. The children in our schools are our most precious possessions, and we want them to come to a welcoming place where they can be embraced and where they can receive instruction that will make them good citizens, help them to build good character, but at the same time be safe. That is a very big challenge in today's world, and I think we can all acknowledge that. I want to commend the President of the Board of Education, the county exec, the sheriff, our coordinator, and Jesse Bain for being here today, because this is a partnership. This is a group of people that are working together and have worked together on many initiatives to ensure that Harford County children are safe and that parents can rest easy that they are. SROs and the topic of SROs sometimes becomes a debate. I will tell you from experience, 19 years as a principal, 3 years as the executive director of middle schools, and serving 5 years as a superintendent of schools, that never once in my career have I ever had anyone say that they could not help us out with securing schools. They have always been there. The government's been there, the police have been there, our teachers, our parents. We've united to make sure that children will be safe. SROs are not there to punish students. They are not there to arrest students. What they are there for is to build relationships with students and the community so that everyone understands that there needs to be order and there needs to be consequences sometimes. But the most important part is that there needs to be someone there in law enforcement that children and adults can go to and that they can trust in. And that is the biggest role that SROs play in our schools. I'm going to not name the names of people that I've worked with over the years, especially as a principal. They know who they are, and I will tell you that the security and the advice that I received as a principal and as an assistant principal from law enforcement could not be replaced by anyone else. So I applaud the generosity of this initiative, and I certainly hope that everyone understands that we need to work together to keep this thing going. We need to work together to make sure that it ensures the safety of students and the community. And even though I'm going to be retiring in 3 months, I'm going to be watching very, very carefully. And if you know me, you know I'll have an opinion. And I need for you to really understand how important this is. And once again, thank you to everybody that is sitting at this table, because these people are the faces of many, many more, hundreds of more people that could be standing up here today to make sure that we take care of our kids. And it really comes down to that. It's a very simple equation. So thank you.
I could have the Bel Air Town Administrator, Jesse Bain, say a few words.
Thank you, Barry. Good morning. I begin by recognizing my mayor, Susan Burdette. She had planned on being here this morning for not for an illness. I also want to recognize my commissioners and my police chief, Chuck Moore. They're in total support of today's announcement to further our efforts to protect our children and our schools. And I also wish to commend our county executive for taking the lead this morning to further fund SROs in our schools beyond our municipalities. For the past several years, the town of Bel Air has stepped up its efforts to protect our children in our schools. Some 2 years ago, our police department conducted a drill at the Bel Air Middle School to test our active shooter plan. For a number of years, a Bel Air officer has been assigned to double duty as an SRO at our high school and our middle school. And just last year, our chief entered into discussions with representatives of our private schools to discuss the possibility to expand our SRO program there also. Today I'm here to announce, in conjunction with our county executive, plans of the town of Bel Air to assign full-time a police officer to our Bel Air Middle School. Though we're in the early stages of our planning, it is our intent for this officer to begin his or her assignment with the beginning of this school year in September. Please know it's also our intent to not stop here. 5 schools remain within our town that deserve some level of increased protection. And to provide this level of protection will be an expensive proposition. But our bottom line must not be cost when it comes to the protection and safety of our children. And our citizens must know that it will require their will and commitment to get this done. As a word of caution, I must say that we should not allow ourselves to be lulled into a false sense of security once our schools have an SRO. As you see from the executive's proposed budget, other measures are necessary. Designing and hardening our schools is a must. Intense trainings of officers to deal with juvenile issues and problems is a must. And development of protocols and testing of safety plans is also a must if we are going to beat the criminals at their game. All this will take time and tax dollars, but again, it is the safety of our children that must be our priority, and this is the cause to which our town is committed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Payne. As you can tell, he has a law enforcement background also, so he's a good partner to have in addition